The Lord works in tasty ways.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in everybody to the first episode of Let's Get Twisted. I appreciate so many of you coming out so early to this and to give it a chance and to see what it's all about. So we can switch over here to the main screen. You can get a good look at what I guess is going to be in store for the foreseeable future, or at least on Saturdays, that is. So hello. We have a little bit a different setup, as you can see. It looks a little different than my normal just chatting screen, if you will. And we do have some different music. You know, we're not doing my normal playlist or having any crazy songs going off. Just gonna be chill vibes, talking, you know, about current events in the gaming world, updates in life, all that good stuff. And I again appreciate you all so much for coming out and hanging out with this. But my main thing with this is I don't want it to be just another podcast. We are going to continue having alerts enabled during these streams. You know, we'll have the Gamba stuff as well. You know, if it gets too crazy, we can always tone it down. But I feel like I still want to make it interactive with you guys and still want the chat to be a part of the stream. Not just, hey, everyone just come to listen to me for a couple hours. Because that's not at all what I want to do. So yeah, so a lot of it's going to be an interactive with the chat. I'll be asking, you know, questions from you guys as we're going along. As well as if you're a part of the Discord or if you're not a part of the Discord, we have a new section there called Let's Get Twisted, where you can go in there and post anything that you'd want me to react to on the stream or for future streams and stuff like that, you know, or if you have specific questions you want me to answer during the stream as well. So I'm just curious to see how it's going to go. You know, today is kind of a dipping our toes in the sand, so to speak, to get a feeling for it and to see, you know, if this is something I want to continue doing. And, I don't know. I've been excited for it. I've been a little nervous, but I mean, just curious to see how it goes. Watching on Twitch and YouTube. I appreciate that, JD, and thank you again for the follow over here on the Twitch side. That's awesome, dude. What's up, Doom Daddy? Hope you're doing well, bud. I'm hyped for the new Mafia game, Sicily. Yes, I saw they did some like trailers for it at the Game Summerfest, the Summer Game Fest yesterday. It looked pretty cool. I've never played the Mafia games. I've heard good things, but maybe one day I'll check them out on stream. But if I do, I'd obviously want to go in order with those. But I'm happy for anybody who's excited about the new Mafia because it does look pretty damn good. It looks like a TV show. Sick, not the emoji. No, it's all good. Resident Evil 9 announced and looks awesome. Yes, I'm super stoked for Resident Evil 9. We'll get more into that in a little bit. I have a couple talking points, to kind of go in order with this stream or with this podcast today. I don't know if I really want to call it a podcast because I'm not going to be uploading it to podcast stations. It's not just going to be talking. We're live and we're on stream and we have a video. So I'm thinking of more of a talk show than a podcast. But, maybe I'm weird for thinking it that way. Who knows? Thanks, Nick. Let's get twisted. So sick already. I appreciate it, man. Hell yeah. Just casual, twisted talking. Exactly, Naka. Welcome in. You get it. What's up, Big Tex? Good to see you as well. So yeah, today's topic, the first thing I guess we would be jumping into is my week, really, just kind of leading up to this stream and this, this topic, I suppose. So one thing I want to get out that a lot of people don't really know about, I've talked about it a little bit in Drew's chat during his streams. I think he's streaming right now, actually. So if he's still live when we're done, maybe we can go raid him, or maybe he'll raid us, who knows. But I've been talking about this, and I'm pretty open about it. I'm not afraid to admit it, that I started going to therapy for the first time in my life a couple weeks ago. I've been going once a week, and just recently I switched to going every other week. But honestly, I think it's one of those things that not a lot of people talk about, or especially men. I think it's kind of that weird stigma that men aren't allowed to talk about their feelings, and if you go to therapy or if you go to see a professional for whatever reason, that must mean you're insane or like you have problems. But honestly, no, I think just some people, it's good just to talk, right? It's just good to get stuff off your chest and not to let everything build up. So, if you are seeing a therapist as well, I want you to know that I'm all for it, dude. Like I'm in support of you, and I'm happy you're doing that. Because yeah, mental health is huge. It's very real, and I'm glad more people are talking about it these days. Even myself, I never really thought about that kind of stuff or talked about that stuff until the last 6 years. So, and that's mainly because of my wife, Wade Lady, who's in chat there. Mental health care is important and should be accessible to everybody. 100% agreed. So, she opened my eyes to a lot of that stuff that I never really thought about. Or, I grew up in a household where I was kind of taught, you're a man, you could suck it up. You're a guy. Don't worry about that kind of stuff. Just kind of move forward. And I just got used to bottling things up, and it's just not good. It's not healthy for you. So, if you're like me, if you're somebody that bottles things up and you just let stuff go, and eventually it's going to hit a boiling point, and you're going to, you're going to regret that. So it's obviously something you want to talk to somebody, right? And I think it's very important to do so. So if you're on that kind of, should I do it, should I not kind of thing right now, I think you should. Obviously, money is a part of it, though. Therapy is not cheap, and especially if your insurance doesn't cover it. I'm not going to get into all that talk, because that is political, I suppose. But you guys know as well as I do, especially if you live in America, health insurance is really a finicky process, and a lot of it is not covered, and it sucks. But if you can afford it, or if it is covered, I highly, highly recommend giving it a try, even if you feel you don't really need it. I think it honestly is worth it. So, yeah, 100%. And Thumpa, good to see you, man. How are you doing? Good to have you here. Talk to us, won't judge much. And that's fair for you to judge. Just all I ask is keep it to yourself. My best friend comes to me for that. It helps a lot. Yes. And that's the thing, too, is just having that person to go to if you have friends online or somebody to vent to, that also does help a lot. But what I recommend is don't always resort to that one person, because eventually that one person, even if they don't tell you this, it might become too much for them, even because they need somebody to, to talk to and to vent to. And maybe you both are that person for each other. And if that's the case, that's pretty healthy and that's awesome. Nothing wrong with that. But I have been in situations before where I've been that guy that people would come to and vent to for every single day for any minuscule thing. And it got to a boiling point for me where it's okay, I have my own problems right now. I can't deal with other people's problems. And that's just because I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not a professional. So that's why I always recommend, yes, it's nice to have somebody who's a friend who you can talk to like that. But I always recommend professional help is always going to be number one. That's the one I would vote for over just talking to a friend. But yeah, talking to somebody is better than nobody, 100%. I'm always having an ear open to listen to. Exactly. Also, good to see you, Mortimer. I hope you're doing good. Thomas, good to see you as well. Lucky, what's up? Is TM4 on PS5? We'll be getting into that soon. And yes, it will be on PS5 July 15th. So not right now, not today, but it will be there very soon. I promise. Pedro, good to see you, buddy. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. America, land of your money is ours, pretty much. Yes, but again, I'm not going to get deep into that stuff because that's political, and I made a promise that we're not going to get into those kind of conversations on this stream, and that's going to be forever. I'm never changing that. Just because, not that I don't like politics or like I'm against talking political, you know, it's just, I always feel when it gets to those kind of things, those conversations, it always ends up with somebody choosing a side, and it's just shit throwing from both sides, and it just becomes toxic, and I don't like that, you know. And also, I made this point on stream a couple days ago. I'm going to repeat myself again, that I'm a streamer, I'm an entertainer, that's all I should be. I don't want anybody to take my thoughts and my opinions and like treat them as your own. You know, you shouldn't have to always believe me, or you shouldn't have to always agree with me. You can have your own thoughts, you can have your own opinions, and I feel like a lot of streamers that do political content, a lot of them kind of shove it in their audience's faces as if it's fact, and that it's the only way to think, and people just kind of feed off that. And I think that's just bad. It's just not, you know, it's not healthy for you guys. So that's just not it's not a road that we're going to go down ever. So just wanted to get that out, episode 1, you know, off my chest, let everybody know that's kind of what to expect for the future with this. It's not going to be any type of political agenda show. I promise you that. People need to land, tend to themselves without others judging them. Yeah, 100% agreed. But yeah, it's a road not to go down. Yep. Playing Dead Island 2, yo, enjoy it, Diamond. I really enjoyed Dead Island 1. I had a really good time with that game. And Dead Island 2, I didn't get to beat it. I played like maybe 10 hours of it. But the 10 hours I played, I genuinely enjoyed it. It was a good time. So I hope you've been enjoying it as well. Damn it, I was hoping for a debate. I'm sorry, Travis. No debates here. Is Summer Games Fest today? No, that was yesterday. It was yesterday at 5 p.m. I think it started, if I remember right. But yeah, that was yesterday. And we're going to go over my thoughts on that. Because I obviously didn't stream it. I didn't showcase it or anything. So I watched it with my wife in the living room. And we went, you know, watched the whole thing. And I'll give you my thoughts on it in a minute here. But other than going to therapy, that's kind of my new thing in my life, I suppose. It's a big change I've never done before. And I'm very, very much enjoying it. It's been an eye-opening thing for me. It's been different. So, you know, I'll probably update you guys with that in the future if you guys want to hear about it. But one thing that was really interesting that I think you guys might find funny is a couple weeks ago, maybe about a week ago, we have these, you know, like a hose reel in your backyard. It rolls up the hose, and a lot of people will buy these things that like connect to the wall of the house, and it's just a very simple system that retracts and retracts, whatever you call it. And it's a really nice system when it works properly. And we bought this like $200. It was like $200. It was pretty expensive. Like just over 2 years ago, we bought this nice hose reel by Giraffe Tools, is the name of the company, and it worked great. You know, I never had a problem with it. I thought like it felt like it was made out of high quality materials, and it was awesome. But all of a sudden, like a week ago, it just stopped working. Like this water does not go through it anymore. The hose just got plugged basically. And so I reached out to Giraffe Tools, and I was like, hey, docs that come, no, you'll understand they deserve to get doxxed. So I reached out to the company, and I'm like, hey, so I bought this off Amazon from you guys, your official store, just over 2 years ago. And I was curious, like, do you have any idea why this is a problem, or like why the water's not working? I literally recorded a video and everything showcasing the problem. And they get back to me after like 3 days, and they basically just said, well, we do have a 2-year warranty, of course, 2 years, and you're just over that 2-year warranty, so there's nothing we can really do. And also, looking at your video, I can assure you that it is broken and there's nothing that can be done. That's it. That was exactly like how they worded it. And at first I was kind of like, okay, I sort of can understand, you know, if they can't do a full replacement or whatever, because I'm past the, you know, the warranty, whatever the warranty date, I get that. But then to tell your customer that there's nothing you can do about it, yeah, shit happens, I guess. There's nothing you can do about it. It's broken. I was kind of like, wow, that's like, it's a $200 fucking hose reel, man. These things are normally $20 at like Lowe's. And, you know, you expect higher quality, better stuff, and especially better customer service. And it just felt like, and then it was so funny. So I didn't reply to that. I was just kind of like, okay. A day goes by and I get another email and it's like, how did we do? Rate your experience talking with our customer service. And I'm just like, okay. So I'm getting ready to put all this stuff together, like screenshots of the conversations and stuff and the video, and put it out. I'm just gonna put them on blast online and be like, this is fucked up. Like, you got, like, I didn't want a free item. I didn't want an exchange. I just wanted somebody to tell me how to fix this. Like, could you send me a diagram of how to go in this? Because I tried taking it apart myself, and it's like a ton of spring systems and cogwheels. It's very complicated. Looking up, I looked up like a tutorial online of how to like replace it or whatever, and it's very complicated. So I was like, the least they could do is send me a tutorial, like a step-by-step thing of how to do it, and I would do it, but they didn't even do that. So how to lose your clientele tutorial 2025 100% updated. That is crazy, but not surprising. It's sad, but true. It's sad, but true. Because, like, so many companies nowadays will sell you stuff at a higher price. Like, the pricing is going up exponentially. You'll buy it, and then they'll give you a shittier product, and then they won't even cover said product. So it's like, you could come back to them within the 1-year warranty, and they still won't give a shit, and they'll still act like it's not their problem. So to me, it just feels like, I don't know. Wouldn't you want to try to at least try to keep a customer around, or like to have somebody saying good things about you? Because then this wouldn't even be a story right now. None of you guys will even hear about this company. But no, they had, you know, they have to go, they pretty much go out of their way to be assholes, to just not care and hope you just don't care, I guess. But it's like, that's my money, man. That's not, and $200 is nothing to scoff at. It's a lot of money. So at this point, it's higher price because their logo is on it, basically. Yeah. And that's kind of my issue right now is, well, I have to buy another one, but I don't really want to buy another one from this shitty company, but they're like the only ones that make them, at least that have good reviews, you know, that are higher quality, supposedly. So yeah, that's kind of a little pickle we're in right now, and I'm going to try to reach out to them again before I put them on blast on social media, but I've done it before with companies. And the funny thing is, when you put a company on blast on social media with proof of why you're pissed off, they always turn around. They always 180, and they'll come back and be like, we're so sorry. What can we do to make this better? And it's just like, why the fuck do I have to go out of my way to do that? Why do we have to get to the point where we're calling you out in public for you to actually care? Like, it's ridiculous. Why? Don't even let it get to that point, you know? It should never get to that point, but it always does. It always feels like it does anyway. Nintendo still has their fan base and their shit as well. We'll get to that very soon, I promise, Buck. Also, good to see you, buddy. In another light, Logitech, I've had problems with their keyboards, but they've sent me 4 replacements under warranty. And I'm not saying that these companies need to do that. That's above and beyond. That's awesome. That's actually really good to hear from Logitech. But there's like, you know, there's ways to go about it to keep your customer base, to keep them happy, to where you can at least show you're trying to give an initiative to make things better, even if you know it's impossible. Like, I used to work at Apple retail, so I used to fix phones for people. They would come into the store and they'd be like, my phone's broken, what can I do? And there was a lot of times where I had to give them the bad news that, yes, your phone is broken, and no, it's not covered under any warranty. But there was never a time where I'm just like, all right, on to the next customer. You know, I had to be like, well, let me talk to my manager and see if there's something we can do for you. You know, maybe we can give you a discount on a new phone, or if you sign up for this package or whatever, we'll give you this phone for free. And we always were able to do stuff like that. And I feel like, not that I'm a huge Apple fan, I'm an Android fan. I have an Android phone now. Even when I worked there, I had an Android phone, but that's a whole other story. But it's one of those things, like, that was a good example of, even if you know there's nothing you can really do, there's always something you can do if you're in customer service. You know, it's just like, it blows my mind when I deal with customer service representatives. And I'm the nice guy. I'm never the one to freak out or swear at them. Like, you can ask my wife. I'm the one that backs off, and I'm like, okay, I tried. She's the one, she won't swear at him, of course, but she's the one that's very like, no, you can help us. You can do this. And she's really good at getting her way that way, and I'm impressed by it. I wish I was that way, because I'm very like standoffish. I'm like, well, I tried, you know. But it definitely is one of those situations where it's like, I hate that I have to become that guy just to get my way, when it shouldn't have to be that way, you know? Apple is the king of anti-repair. This was like 2017, 2016 when I worked there. It's been a while. So they definitely could have changed since then easily. But yeah, even just showing that you care for the customer goes a long way. Fact. I can tell you straight up, Kay, there's been so many situations where I've been on the phone with the customer service rep or through email or whatever with an issue, and they have gone above and beyond trying to tell me like, hey, I want to help with this and I can't do it, but here, let me try this. And it keeps going. And I think that really,
in a dystopian world of people being ripped off, one man named Nick will always be worth the money.
Thank you, Mystery. And I don't know about that, but I appreciate the compliment. And yeah, just the fact that they were trying and they were proving to me that they were trying, it put myself at ease. I was less angry, less irritated. I still had the problem, right? It wasn't fixed, but that definitely helped. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They just think, oh, this customer is going to be mad. They're going to be a Karen. They're going to ask the manager, why should I give a fuck? And that's just not the way to go about it. This is not meant to be a lesson on customer service, but it turned into that. So yeah, long story short, if you feel you are being screwed over by a big corporation like that and you deserve better, there's always ways to get your way. Again, if you feel like you're in the right, if you have the proof to prove that you are in the right, don't stop. Put them on blast on social media if you have to, but there's always a way to get your way. It just sucks that we have to jump through these hoops to even get to that point, right? Companies just want to have a good image. Nick is the best type of employee. Well, I was just doing what my job description titled, right? We were told on day one, like, don't just tell customers to fuck off, like, try to fix the problem before they leave angry. But a lot of my coworkers did not follow that. I just tried to do it the best I could, right? Progressive is actually penetrating me right now. Oh no. Flo, get out of my boy Charlie right now, please. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic here before I get too much of a tangent with that. So this is a big one we talked about a little bit on stream. We did actually a whole celebration stream on this, but you guys are already aware. Twisted Metal 3 and 4 have now, well, they will be coming to the PS5. It's fully announced, right? It's official that Sony has listened or at least paid attention a little bit to Twisted Metal fans, and they want to showcase more of the games on the PlayStation Network, which is huge. And I talked about this in the previous stream. I'm going to bring it up again because I think it is important. Some people I've still been seeing online, even on Twitter, I saw some people saying, like, why is Sony giving a shit about these dog shit games? Like, Twisted Metal 3 and 4 suck. They need to be caring about other games. And it's like, feelings on the games aside, I don't give a shit if you like TM3 or 4 or if you like 2 or 1. It doesn't matter which one you like the most, right? What matters is that they actually are talking about TM in 2025 and putting games back on the PlayStation Store, which is more readily available to new players. Because you think about how many people have a PS5 right now that have never had a Sony console in their life. And I'm talking mostly about 10-year-olds to 20-year-olds right now. People who did not grow up with PlayStation, right? Maybe they grew up with Xbox or, I don't know, Nintendo. But they have a PS5 now. So they can now get their hands on classics, Twisted Metal 3 and 4. And that can get them, to be more new fans of the series. Maybe get them to start asking, can we get a new Twisted Metal? Because this gameplay is sick. This is fun. This is cool. And it's a 20, 30-plus year old game, right? So I think it's bigger than it is. It might be copium because I'm obviously a fan of 3 and 4. But I genuinely think this is huge for not only Twisted Metal fans, but I think for Sony as a whole, because it's showing that they are trying to take their IPs a little bit more seriously. All we can hope now is that this is going to be a domino effect to essentially release a new game. You got the hiccups. So hopefully this will go from 3 and 4 releasing on the PlayStation Store as a PlayStation Classic. People will start buying it. They see that people are buying it. The IP has shown that it's still alive. People are talking about it, right? We're sharing it on social media. We're making videos about it. We're making streams about it. Sony's hopefully going to see that. And then maybe that'll push them to be more like, well, Season 2 is doing really good. The ratings are really well. Maybe we're going to get a Season 3. And that will push them to be like, we need to make a new game. And that new game can be a remake. It can be a remake collection like TM1 to together, or like 1, 2, 3, and 4 all together would be amazing. That'd be a dream come true. But as long as it's something brand new that, you know, can all us fans can get our hands on, as well as new players together, would just be massive. That would be huge. That'd be so huge. So I just pray that this is good news. This is a step in the right direction, and that we will be getting something new from it. And I get that it's not that big of news. I understand from the people on the outside, you know, people who aren't fans of Twisted Metal, they're like, who cares? Why do you care about, you know, PS1 games coming to the PS5? They're not remakes. They're just ports. And in reality, they are correct. They're not wrong about that. But this is big because of everything I just stated, because I think it is going to be a domino effect. I think it's going to be good for the long run. I get to play the ones I haven't played yet. And there you go. Spyro's a good example. Like, even people in the Twisted Metal community that love these games, they maybe aren't able to play them right now because they either A, don't have a PC that can play emulated games, or B, they don't have the original hardware, you know, and all the stuff needed to play said game, which is understandable because, one, it's kind of hard to find, and two, it's kind of expensive. So this is an easily, readily available way for people to play it in 2025.
Bandicoot can make
Huge.
a comeback into relevancy, then I have faith in Needles Cane.
Right there with you, Jonathan. Right there with you, buddy. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Oh,
fuck.
Almost a W as well. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. And welcome in. I hope you're having a great night. Time to get twisted. And thank you again for the love. Holy shit. I appreciate that. But yeah, so we were just talking about 3 and 4, you know, coming to the PS5. I think that's huge. I'm obviously going to be buying them. I'm going to pick them up because I want to show support to the games, to the IP. And also I want to do the challenges. You know, I want to unlock all the trophies. So those will be future streams, 100%ing 3 and 4. You know, it's going to happen. So, and I, you know, if you have a PS4 or a PS5, by the way, yes, they are coming to PS4. People have been asking about that. They are. If you have a 4 or 5, I highly recommend buying these games, even if you hate 3 and 4. But if you are a fan of Twisted Metal and you want a new TM to be made, we have to show that there is some type of love for this IP. So I recommend. I'm not working for Sony. I'm not getting paid to say this. I wish I was, though. But needless to say, go out and buy it. Just buy them, because we need to show support for these games so we get a new one. Something that is a fact, Sony is watching the numbers for 3 and 4 players. Exactly. Right. And it's like, if nobody buys it, if nobody gives a fuck, then Sony is going to take it off the store and they're not going to think about it again. And we don't want that to happen. So we need people to buy it. TM3 and 4 will be upscaled ports when they come into PSN store in July. Right. So it's not going to be remakes. People have kind of assuming that they're like remakes or whatever. No, that they are just straight up ports from the original PS1 game, but upscaled. You know, they'll work in 4K and all that stuff will be really nice. And they'll have the replay, or the, it's not replay, what is it called? Like the rewind feature that 1 and 2 have. So, and trophies. So that'll all be added, which is pretty cool. We in the time where Call of Duty, GTA, and Fortnite take center stage than the games we grew up with. I mean, yeah, like first-person shooters right now, battle royales are pretty much the talk of the town. You can't really hide from those. You can't really get away from them. But that's not to say that like indie games and AA publishers aren't also killing it. I mean, you know, yeah, we could point the finger and say Fortnite's taking everyone's money, but in reality, I don't think so. I think Fortnite's kind of dropping off. I think Call of Duty's definitely dropping off. A lot of people, content creators especially that I follow, that are COD fans and they make Call of Duty content, they're falling off of it. So I don't know. I don't really have any fear of that. I think right now is like the best time for these new unique games to come out, because people are yearning for it. We're dry right now, dude. Like, we're thirsty. We want some good games, especially unique games, not just the same old slop, you know, repeated over and over again. We want new stuff. The OST is my main question still. Will it be intact? I don't know about that. I would love to say that yes, it's going to be intact and it's going to be in working order, but I can't say for sure. I hope so, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. If I was a betting man, I would probably say no. I'd probably say they went in and they removed the music, maybe put royalty-free music in there, or maybe it just made it silent. I don't know. I hope that's not the case. I hope they got to keep some of the music, but knowing Sony, they're not going to spend money, you know, especially thousands. You think of how much money it costs to get those songs in there. I don't know. I don't see it happening, but you never know. You never know. I got the Jack and Daxter collection on PS4. That's a PS2 port to the games, not HD remaster like on PS3. I still had fun with the games. Yeah, exactly. And even though they're not remakes, they're just remasters, it's still that original game that people love for a reason. So people are going to play it 100%. What's up, Dark Knight? I literally posted in the Twist Metal fan club on Facebook that 3 and 4 were coming to PS4 and 5 during the live stream, and an admin flagged me for posting spam. Then everyone started talking about it. Yeah, it sounds like Facebook. I have not really used... I don't use Facebook as much as I used to. I guess I just kind of started falling off of it. But I would like to join the Facebook group for the Twisted Metal thing, but the problem with that is like I would dox myself because it's my full name on Facebook. So I need to... maybe I need to like make a fake account or something to be able to join there. But I don't know. Maybe one day, we'll see. At the moment, I get enough, of my news and stuff from Reddit and Twitter, so... And Discord, of course. I'm curious if they're gonna do the soundtrack. Same. I don't know. It would be nice if they were remasters. That would be sick, but it's sadly not. It's just ports for right now. Which will make it worse if Sony uses 3 and 4 cells as an excuse to not make another game to add more salt in the wound. I don't think that would happen, though. I mean, that is definitely an understandable fear, but I don't think, we release... Guys, stop whining about Twisted Metal. We released 3 and 4. That's what you wanted, right? They might do that, but I highly doubt it. I think it's more of testing the waters. I think it's to throw it out there, see if the IP has any type of hype, right? If anybody gives a shit. And if it sells... I'm not saying it needs to sell millions of copies, but if it sells at least 10,000 units, if 10,000 people buy 3 or 4 or both, that kind of will tell Sony, okay, there's people here. People do care, and they're buying old PS1 games. So if we make a new game, it's going to obviously sell better than those. At least that's my, what I would think they'd be thinking. Make the chat slightly 2 degrees and see if anyone noticed. Now, the reason I moved it is because I saw one of the emotes was getting cut off on the right side there. It's still a little cut off. Let me slightly adjust this. There we go. That's a little better. They were slightly getting cut off, so I was like, I'm just going to move it over. Plot twist. Sony hired Rob Zombie and remade the entire story. Let me dream a little. Pedro, I hope that's true. That'd be sick. But sadly, yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, another one.
Bryson.
There will be more subscribers.
Thank you so much, my man.
I promise you that.
Let's go. Thank you so much for the 4 months. That Prime sub. Welcome back to the Vicarious crowd. Appreciate the love and support, dude. Hope you're having a great night. Hail to the yeah. And yeah, in case people were wondering, yeah, we still have alerts up. I still have redeems available. You guys can still gamba. That's all going to be happening. This doesn't have to be the most chill thing of all time. It's just more of a talk show than it is, me playing games. So I know I put chill music on in the background, mainly just because I felt like my playlist would be a little bit distracting, with like a hard rock or metal playing. So that, just so people are aware, all that stuff is still more than welcome. You can still do that. You can still make me look fat. You can still use the bits to make your messages read out loud by the AI. The one thing I did do is I did remove the TTS command because it was being... I was getting tired of having to tell people to stop using it in a spam sort of sense. And also we were reaching the end, what do you call it? The limit, I guess. We were reaching the limit by the end of the month way too quickly. So sadly I did have to remove it. So there's no TTS anymore, and I do apologize for that. But the AI voices will still stay, of course. And I will still have one free AI voice per stream. But just tonight I turned it off just to have not as much going on with the voices. But yeah, so all that stuff will be motion blur. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I didn't realize you could stack them until I think it was yesterday or last stream. I can't remember, but I guess you can stack all of them together. That's crazy. That's all of them together. Ew. What's up, Gas Mask? Let's talk politics. Let's not. And that's never going to be the case here. I've already said at the beginning of the stream, but I'll repeat myself again because this is day one. People aren't 100% sure what's going on. No, this will never be a political talk show. We're never going to go into that stuff. We're never going to talk about anything, that could lead to fights and people getting pissed off and people canceling people. Nope, that's never going to be the case here. So Truly, truth be told, I just don't give a shit that much about politics to talk about it on stream. And I don't think people care about my thoughts of it, right? I think you want to hear your own thoughts in the chat, and that's not going to happen. So, yeah, no one needs to know my thoughts on that stuff. Doesn't matter. Hey, Southwest, good to see you, man. You're not looking so good, my boy. Oh, man. Let's see. Pilot episode, you never want to blow your load on the first episode. Exactly. Mortimer gets it. Devastating topic. What belongs on pizza? All right, now we're all gonna fight. Let's go. Okay. I am definitely a certified hater of pineapple. So I say, like, if you put pineapple on pizza, you're insane. But I get it. Everyone has their own taste. So I'm not gonna say you're wrong if you like pineapple on pizza. But I fucking hate it. I absolutely cannot do it. Pineapple's my favorite on pizza. I don't know. For me, it's such an overpowering flavor that, like, it just is not pizza anymore. Like, it's technically pizza, but I'm just tasting, like, the sour bitterness of pineapple. And it's like, you know, if you want pineapple, just eat pineapple by itself. Why are you ruining pizza by putting that on there? It's like, what the fuck, man? Don't do that. Stop. Nacho cheese jalapeno. Wait, what? Like, on pizza? I never even heard of that before. Just got back from watching Worlds Collide. Minnesota's own Chad Gable fought Vikingo for his AAA Mega Championship in the main event. I'm assuming that's like wrestling, right? Sounds badass. Hope you had a good time with it, man. Chances of multiplayer for the July Twisted Metal releases 0%. I mean, it'll have
George Washington for president.
It'll have
politics.
I'll come back to that. Travis, thank you, buddy.
I bought a Switch
Oh my
2
god.
yesterday. I really like it so far. I never noticed how slow the frame rate on the Switch 1 was until I played Resident Evil 5 on my Switch 2. It runs as nice as it does on my PS5.
Wow, that's good to hear, man. Honestly, that's good to hear. Thank you, Jonathan.
Oh, fuck.
And thank you for the hype train, my god. Thank you, Travis, for the 300 biddies, and Jonathan with a $10 donation. Yeah, we can get some hype in chat. Yeah, do what you guys want. Dance, I don't care. Thank you so much, man. That's fucking huge. And I hope you are enjoying the Switch 2. I'm actually going to get into that. That's the next topic on the list here. So we'll get into the Switch 2. I'm glad you brought that up. Because I do have my personal thoughts on it, but I am happy that you're enjoying it. And you're saying that it is a pretty big step up in terms of performance from the Switch 1. But the thing is, my god, I would hope it is. Because it's been 7-8 years since the Switch 1 dropped. So I am glad that that is a bump up. That's, you know, if it wasn't, I'd be absolutely just fuming. I'd be foaming at the mouth. But thankfully, it's been good. I'm glad you've been enjoying it, man. And again, thank you so much for the love. I was talking to, quite frankly, though, chances of multiplayer coming to the July release TM3 and 4. So it'll probably have split screen, you know, like the regular PS1 version does. You can emulate split screen as well, just fine. But they're not going to have multiplayer, like online multiplayer. That is not going to be a thing. Sad to say. Absolute zero chance of that happening. But, I mean, imagine if they brought those games to the Classic Collection and then added multiplayer, like online servers, so you guys could fight together with people across the nation. That'd be insane. I would pay extra for that, 100%. Imagine Small Brawl with, like, free-for-all, like 8v8 or something. That'd be crazy, bro. Pineapple on pizza was invented by a Canadian who wanted to make Italian dish but didn't have pepperoni, just only had a can of pineapples. Well, I'm sure like, that doesn't surprise me. I'm sure it was some guy that just had the last thing in his cabinet and he's like, fuck it, I'm throwing it on the pizza. But I just don't, I think it ruins it personally. It's just too much. Trust me, the Switch 2 you definitely notice the performance difference. It runs 60 frames a second on handheld, and it can run up to 120 FPS on the dock. Apparently, it supports 4K displays, which that's true, and HDR, but I'll see how true that is. I've been told that it looks beautiful, like it runs great, and it is a huge step up from the Switch 1. So I have said that if you don't have a Switch 1, like if you never purchased Switch 1, I think a Switch 2 would be a good deal. I think it would be, just to go straight to the, the big dog, the big boy, and to future-proof yourself for the new games coming out. But I don't know. I feel like unless you're just a massive Nintendo fan right now, a Switch 2 just is kind of not worth it. I'll get more into that in a minute. Oh, fuck. So close. Thank you, Travis, for that 300 biddies. Appreciate you, homie. Thoughts of ranch on pizza? It's not bad. I've dipped pizza in ranch before. It's pretty good. Ranch is good on everything, to be honest. Carl, welcome in. Good to see you, buddy. How are you doing? But yeah, so back to my thing on the Switch 2. So if you already have a Switch 1, I personally right now don't think the Switch 2 is worth the price. And I'll say this. I agree with Jonathan. Yes, it's a huge step up in performance. I think it's probably a really good system. I don't have anything bad to say about the way it looks or the ergonomics. I think it looks way better than the Switch 1. However, just at this moment, like as of right now today, the only real game you can get on it is Mario Kart, right? Maybe Donkey Kong. I know that one's coming out if it's not already. So you got like one, maybe two major games to get for it, and it's, it's not my place to say where people want to spend their money. I'm not going to call you an idiot for getting a Switch 2. That's not my case at all here. I'm just saying I just don't personally think it's worth the money because it's only two games. And on top of that, the thing that really pisses me off is if you want the upgraded power. Yo, Wang! Thank you for the $3 super chat as well, buddy. Welcome, man. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much, guys, for the love. Oh, are they gonna get one here?
Oh, fuck.
So close, so close. Thank you, buddy. But if you have the Switch 2, the biggest cardinal sin to me is if you want to play your already owned Switch 1 games, you have to buy the $20 upgrade to like use the performance. I believe, and Jonathan might be able to correct me wrong on this one, I believe you can still play Switch 1 games on it without the upgrade, but then they just run like the old Switch. I might be wrong with that. They might not even play at all. I don't know. But all I know is that
sorry to interrupt.
You have to
again,
pay $20 for that, which is
2.
insane. Thank you, Travis, and no worries. We're all here together. No one's interrupting nobody.
Oh, fuck.
Appreciate that so much, buddy. And yeah, like, because that's the thing. Is like, if this was a regular podcast, I'd be like, stop doing that, stop. But that's not a podcast. This is a talk show. We're all here. We're all interactive. We're all hanging out. And of course, I appreciate the support more than you guys know. So don't you ever worry about that. But like with the Switch 2, the fact that you have to pay $20 to upgrade games you already own just to play it on this new software, it pisses me off. Because on a PS5, I could put a PS4 game in there and it automatically upscales it to 4K and it'll run better because it's a more powerful system. But you don't have to pay extra for that. It's just like, I don't know. That stuff blows my mind that no one's kind of complaining about that on the Nintendo side. I haven't seen many people pissed off about that. And I feel like more people need to be pissed off about it, personally. Cyberpunk is available, and I heard it runs pretty well, too. And that's good. It's great that these games that have been ported to the Switch that normally ran like crap now can be finally running well. Just as good as they run on the PS5, but in a handheld form, which is sick. It's awesome. And I'm happy for Nintendo fans for that. But, yeah, the lack of games right now and the fact that you have to pay extra money to play games you already own on a new system are two major reasons why I think it's not worth it right now to get the Switch 2. Again, unless you don't have a Switch at all. If you never bought a Switch, this is your first time getting into it, then sure, get one and you'll probably really love it. But I just feel right now, might as well save your money. The other thing too is I heard about this. I don't know if this is actually true or not. You guys, again, can correct me if I'm wrong. I heard a lot of rumors that if you mod the Switch 2 in any way, shape, or form, they will send out a security patch that will brick your system from being able to run at all. And in my opinion, I don't find that okay. I think if you purchase an item, if I physically buy a phone or a gaming system, I should be allowed to mod this. I should be allowed to do whatever the fuck I want with it because it's my property. I own this. And the fact that if you mod a Switch 2 and they send out a patch to brick your system because they don't want you modding it, I find that illegal. I think that should be illegal, personally. But I don't know. I don't know if that's true. That could be a rumor someone made up, and I'm just getting mad for nothing. And if that's the case, I'll take it back. But that is something that I feel is like I would not want to support Nintendo if they're thinking that practice is okay. At least, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking that or over exaggerating, but that's definitely how it feels. Someone asked if TM3 and 4 had online multiplayer. I thought it might be technically viable with a friend via share play and party chat. That actually, 420, welcome in. That definitely could be a possibility. I don't know on that. I've never played the share play thing. But yeah, that could be a workaround for sure. Kind of like using Parsec on a PC to play, split screen multiplayer like me and Witch Dust do during our streams. So if that's possible, I'm sure that would work as well. Yeah, but they're just not going to be dedicated like servers or anything like that, sadly. Yeah, you technically signed your right away to do that with the terms and service, right? Which is just ridiculous, and I think that should be illegal, 100%. Just play Mario Kart Wii. But it doesn't apply to games, which again is kind of weird. Once again, I use Resident Evil 5 as an example. It looks crispy, clean, and runs buttery smooth, but Crash Bandicoot does not. And let me ask, Jonathan, with Resident Evil 5, did you buy like a Switch 2 version of that game? Or did you have Resident Evil 5 on the Switch 1 and you just downloaded it to Switch 2? Because that'll change my opinion on this depending on your answer to that. I'm honestly boycotting Nintendo in general. Terrible company, not worth supporting or defending. My biggest thing with Nintendo for the longest time is how much they shit on content creators. They've always tried to copyright claim people just playing their games, and I find that bullshit. It's like, dude, if somebody wants to support and love your content or love your consoles and your games, let them. It's free marketing, literally free marketing for you. And it's not like they sent that device to me or to whoever wanted to make content on it. They paid money for that to showcase it to their audience. And then their whole channel gets ripped away because Nintendo just is like, yeah, it's my game. That's greedy. And I've never been a fan of that. No other company that I've ever heard of has done that. It's only been Nintendo that have copyrighted claimed and taken away full YouTube channels because of it. And it's just ridiculous. I've never bothered when consoles launch with a lack of games. This in fact happens more than we are willing to admit. Remember when it happened with the PS5? Oh, 100%. Yes. And that's a good point. Like I should have reiterated that. Like Nintendo's not alone in that when it comes to new console launches. 9 times out of 10, it feels like they never have games. And that's very true. But my main issue is that aside, right? Let's say you don't care about new games. The fact that you can't play the old games without having to buy an upgrade of them is ridiculous. And that's where it pisses me off. But I might be wrong in that. Maybe you can still play the old Switch games. You just don't have the upgraded, visuals, which is like, that's fucking stupid. Why are they gatekeeping the performance of my system behind a paywall? I already bought the system. I have the game that I bought legally years ago. Why can't that game be upscaled on this new system? Why is it being gatekept? Because it obviously can be upskilled. It can work that way, but you have to pay a $20 fee to do that. And I've never seen that before. So that's where I'm pissed off. But yeah, no, I agree with Jonathan in that regard. Nintendo's not alone in that with launching a new system with no games. I know the PS5 launched with barely anything. The PS4, 2013, 2012, that launched with barely anything. So that is nothing new. And I get future proofing it. I'm not saying again that you're wrong for getting a Switch 2 right now, but it just feels, for me, I would save my money. I would say wait. Another reason for this, and this is something that we all know it's going to happen. Do you guys remember the Switch OLED? Remember that little guy? Well, for some reason the Switch 2 is not OLED. So that tells me they're going to make a Switch 2 OLED. It might be a year from now. It might be 2 years from now. Whatever the case may be. But I would say wait and get that version. Just don't buy the Switch now. Wait until the OLED comes out. Then buy that version. You get a way better system, better battery life, better screen, and you will have more games to choose from, hopefully at that point. So, yeah, there's a lot of reasons not to get the Switch 2 right now. But the biggest thing for me, again, is the fact if you mod the system, it gets bricked. Bullshit. And and the lack of games, and if you want to play old games you already purchased, you can't unless you buy an upgrade fee, which I think is just so stupid, ridiculous. Yo, what's up, Heavy? Good to see you, man. They can brick it up whenever they want. Also delete the game you bought. I don't know about that last part. I might have to get a source on that. I haven't heard about that, but if that's true, that's insane. I think Nintendo might violate EU laws if they actually have the ability to completely break your system. That's what I'm saying. I think it should be illegal if it's not. If it's not illegal, it should be illegal, but I think it is illegal. And it might not be the last of that. We might see something going on there for sure. Nintendo has a history of doing this, anti-consumer stuff, 100%. And that's why I've never been a fan of them. I've never been a huge Nintendo fanboy. I'll play the games, I'll play Mario Party, Mario Kart, Zelda, Pokemon, but I don't want to support them. Like, I don't want to go out of my way and be like, go buy this, you know, here's a new game, it's amazing, buy it. Like, I don't know. I've just never been a huge fan of the way they do things behind the scenes. Right to repair should be a fundamental right. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%, Carl. Yes, preach it, brother. Because, yeah, right to repair is something that a lot of people are just kind of letting go these days. They're just kind of saying it's okay to not. A lot of people, it's getting scary at how many people are okay with buying something, but not actually owning it. And a big example of that is games, digital games. You're buying a game, but you're not actually owning it. You're buying a license to borrow that game. So at any moment, that game could get taken off the store and you no longer can play it ever again. So you didn't technically buy the game. That's why, like, for me personally, I don't think piracy is actually stealing, because you're not actually buying a game license. But that's a whole other story. But, like, yeah, and that's just gaming. I mean, there's all other types of things. I've even seen vehicles, like literal cars, that have software updates that can brick your vehicle if you don't pay a subscription fee. So you're buying a car, but you don't actually own the car. You never do, because at any moment, if you don't pay the subscription fee, they will brick your vehicle. It's just, that kind of stuff scares me. And I feel like the whole world's kind of moving to that. You know, I think everything's kind of moving to those subscription fee things. Yeah, it was BMW. That's right. I think the whole world's kind of moving towards that, where everything is trying to become subscription based so that you can't actually own anything. Nothing is yours anymore. And that's scary. And that should be scary. And the fact that not enough people are talking about that or scared about that, it blows my mind. Because that is a horrible, like, you know, dystopian future feeling. No one wants that. At least I hope no one wants that. If you mod your PS3, you get banned from online. You'd ban your serial number of that PS3, but entirely bricking your system is really bad. And that's the thing, Pancake. It depends on what you're doing with your mods, right? If you're modding a system to, like, get free games or cheat in online video games, then yeah, you deserve to get banned, right? But I also feel like it should not totally brick your system either. It should just, yeah, block you from internet access. That makes sense. You know, and you have to make a new account or pay for a new account or whatever. But it should never actually brick your system to where it's unplayable or unusable, especially to play offline. That is insane. Nintendo really hates their own fans. They are a very anti-fan base for the company based around games for the whole family. In a lot of ways, yeah. No, I literally transferred my account from my old Switch to the Switch 2, so I'm playing the same one that was on my Switch 1. Oh, okay. So that actually helps me then. So Jonathan's saying that they were able to play the games that they were on their Switch 1. Well, at least the digital ones, I'm assuming. I don't know if you have the actual cards anymore, but at least the digital one, you're still able to play on the Switch 2 without paying. You didn't have to pay a $20 upgrade fee. Because again, this is why it's important to get these facts out there and not just to follow whatever the main rumor is going around, because the rumor I've seen is that you cannot play Switch 1 games on the system unless you buy the $20 upgrade. But maybe that's per game? I don't know. I really don't know the facts on it. I wish I did, because it's very convoluted. They made it very confusing. Which sucks. I wish it wasn't confusing, because that would, upgrading to a Switch 2, I think would be more of a understandable purchase if I'm able to play all my old games without a problem. But I have been told back and forth that you have to buy these $20 upgrade fees, so I don't know. I miss Nintendo when they were still in the console race. Me too. That is completely untrue. I don't know where you heard that from. It's all over Twitter. I'm not even kidding. It's hundreds of thousands of people sharing these. I don't know who you heard that from, but I didn't have any issue playing any of my Switch 1 games. Sorry if they told you that, but I didn't know about the $20 upgrades. I will look into that. Yes, yeah, please do. And honestly, Jonathan, you're a beast for changing my mind on this and proving, as somebody who bought a Switch 2, you can play these games. That's awesome. Well, there you go. That ticks off one of my negatives. That's a plus, because yeah, I've been told back and forth you cannot play any of the Switch 1 games unless you buy these $20 upgrade fees. So I don't know where the $20 upgrade fee thing came from. I don't know if somebody started just some hate rumor and it just took off, or maybe there are certain games that you need to pay. I think Zelda was one they showed it as example, and there was another Mario game and they show those. They said that you have to pay $20 to get the Switch 2 version, and that's what was like. What does that mean, right? Like I don't understand. My shitty apartment internet would die doing that to all those two. I said, wait, what? Doing good watching this, and Drew and because Kay's watching multiple streams. That's right, Doll went live too. God damn, everyone's streaming right now. Nintendo when they were still in the console race. Yep. V8 on N64 was decent. Very true. V8's just a beast game in general. That needs to come to the PlayStation Classics catalog. That needs to be there right now. Hopefully someone or a group of hackers and mod those softwares. Oh, to stop like the hack or whatever. There'll be ways around it, I'm sure. Yeah. Bro, if I learned that were true, I would not have bought a Switch 2 myself. Exactly. Exactly. That's why I didn't get one. Because that's what I've been seeing everywhere online. So, yeah. Upgrading games is still a relatively new thing in the industry. It used to be a full price for remasters. Interesting. So, based on that, 420, are you saying that like they're basically remaking the games for Switch 2, but they're only going to cost $20 if you own the old game? So it's not. That's so confusing because that means you can still play. Let's say Breath of the Wild as an example. Like
last Nintendo system I was interested in was GameCube.
Based. GameCube was sick. Good choice. Good choice.
Oh, fuck.
Damn it. Thank you so much, Generic White Man, for that $5 super chat. Let's get some love in chat for Generic, please. Thank you so much, man. The only thing Zelda I know about is that they re-released Breath of the Wild for the Switch 2. It apparently has upscaled textures and frame rates, but if you own an old copy, you can upgrade it. Okay. That makes so much more sense, Jonathan. So, to kind of come back around full circle to what we were talking about, the way it works is that you have the choice where you can play, like let's say Breath of the Wild. Let's say I have Breath of the Wild, which I do, on the Switch 1. I can plug that into my Switch 2 and play the game just fine. But if I want it with upgraded textures, basically the remake version of it that runs better on the Switch 2, I have to pay $20 to upgrade it, basically, to that Switch 2 version. So that makes more sense. So you have the choice. You can play the older version and it runs fine. You know, it's probably upscaled on the Switch 2, but it's going to show its age, if you're playing the Switch 1 version. But if you want to pay money, you can upgrade. Okay, that makes so much more fucking sense. That makes so much more sense. To the current version for a small fee, right? And I think the fee was $20. I'll have to look that up though. Maybe it's different depending on the game. No idea. Yo, Ada, what's up? My power is out? Oh no! Hope your power comes back. I'm sorry to hear that. Having your power go out is never fun. I actually have a reason to play my husband's PS5 when TM3 and 4 comes to it. There you go. Hell yeah. Usually they hack something to run more features, homebrews and other things. Piracy is a consequence. Microsoft just provided the dev subscription to create apps and games on Xbox, so there is no motivation to jailbreak their consoles. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. Maybe Nintendo will do the same thing. I don't know. I think it's one if you want the Switch 2 version with improved graphics. Right. And in that regard, if it's a choice, if you're not being forced into it, I can't give too much flack to Nintendo because I think Sony did the same thing. I want to say with some of their PS4 games, it was like if you wanted the PS5 version upgraded, over the PS4 version, you could do that for $10 or something. So yeah, if that's the case, then I take back everything I said about the lack of games because you technically have your whole Switch 1 library. That's awesome. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. I'm still gonna hold out though and wait for the OLED edition because we all know the OLED version's coming. It's gonna be a thing. So I'm gonna hold out for that. But at least the Switch 2, it sounds like according to Jonathan's been a pretty good buy. So I'm glad you've been enjoying it, man. That's awesome. Wasn't Duxation on Xbox at one point? That I do not know. Maybe. I'm saying that back when PS4 came out, you had to buy all these games full price again. Yes, that is very true. Yep, I remember that because I had like a PS3 version of Call of Duty Ghosts, and I bought a PS4 and I had to buy it for PS4 as well. That sucked. Still looks like a way to nickel and dime your ass. In a way, I mean, if you think about it, Carl, it's like I'm playing Breath of the Wild on my Switch 2, and it would say the Switch 1 version. I'm having a good time. And then my buddy walks up to me with a Switch 2, and he's got the Switch 2 version. I'm going to look at that and be like, man, mine looks like ass. So now I'm going to have to pay money to get that version, even though I already bought the game. So I still think it should be a free upgrade. Personally, if you already own the game, it should just be upgraded to that version because it's a software update. Let's be honest with ourselves. They can easily do that. But they got to get money somewhere. So I guess, you know, it is what it is. What's the point if you're just playing Switch 1 games? Half the reason I still don't give a shit about the PS5. So you're asking, like, what's the point of getting a Switch 2 if you're just going to play Switch 1 games? I would say just to future-proof yourself. So when Switch 2 games do come out, you're ready to go. That's the only reason I would buy a Switch 2 right now. Like I said, I'm going to wait until the OLED version comes out because A, they're probably going to have a bundle system when that comes out with a game, and B, hopefully by the time that the OLED version comes out, there will be a ton of choices for Switch 2 games. At least that's what I would assume. Hard to say if that actually will be true, but you never know. You never know. But yeah, like, I don't know. The Switch 2 is an interesting topic because it's something where I think it has a lot of benefits and improvements over the first system for sure.
You're a subscriber.
Damn.
Oh,
10 months.
Don't get lost amongst the rest of the crazy.
Travis, my man, thank you so much for that re-membership of 10 months. I think that's tier 3. Tier 3 membership. Appreciate you so much, homie, with all the love. Always a beast with it. Let's get some love in chat for Travis, the beast himself. Thank you so much, buddy. I'm doing good, Powerzim. How you doing? Welcome in. It's also a lot bigger. That's true. Yeah, the screen is, you know, like I said, there's a lot of very good positives to the Switch 2 system over the first one. Like the 120 hertz refresh rate is crazy good. You know, 120 frames is huge over 60. The 4K output is huge. The actual system runs a lot better, you know, a lot smoother, better graphics. Yeah, the list goes on. It's obviously an upgrade. That is no doubt. All I'm saying is it's relatively inexpensive for what you're getting out of it. I'd say it's a fair price. How much is it, by the way, Jonathan? If you're just buying just a Switch 2, I can't remember off the top of my head. Is it $500 USD? If it's just a Switch 2? What up, X? What up, Rattlehead? Hope y'all having a great Saturday. Yes, it's been going good. We've been doing our first episode. Let's Get Twisted. We've just been chilling. Back to what you were saying about companies being un-user-friendly. Hasbro has really bad about new Nerf blasters being glued and with plastic rivets, so it's extremely difficult to mod or repair blasters. Honestly, I had no idea that people could even do that in the first place. You were able to mod them, but the fact that they're kind of making that impossible is kind of bullshit. Hasbro, what are you doing? What the hell? Just got done cleaning and moving out of my old apartment. New apartment I've been staying at for a few weeks. Now I got to unpack. But that can be done later. Hell yeah, dude. Well, I hope the new apartment is going well. Moving always sucks, but I'm proud of you. And I'm glad you got to the new place safe and sound. Haven't messed with Nerf since I was a kid. Same, honestly. I haven't messed with Nerf gun in a long time. $550, I think, was the going price. Okay. So I look at it this way. So for $550, you know, 550 smackaroos, you get, and I'm talking about right now, you get access to buying Mario Kart World, because I don't think that comes to Mario Kart World. I think there's like the one more expensive than that. That's like a bundle. Let's say $600. You get Mario Kart World. So you got one game, right? So for $600, you get the console and you get one game. That's, you know, and that's great. If you like Mario Kart, that's awesome. For me personally, Mario Kart, every single one I have purchased and every single one I've gotten bored with after an hour. I might be wrong. I might be weird in that, but Mario Kart gets so boring to me if you don't play with friends. And that if you're playing solo, it's fun for an hour. So I don't really think Mario Kart is a good system seller. Personally, I think it should have been a Zelda game or like a different Mario, like Odyssey or something. You know, Mario Odyssey 2 would have been sick. But that's beside the point. $600, you're getting the console in one game, and you get access to play it all your old Switch games. So the way I look at it is for $600, I honestly would rather buy a Steam Deck right now, because with that, it's a full-blown computer in the palm of your hand, same size screen as the Switch 2, it's OLED, better battery life, and you get access to all your Steam games. And a lot of people say, oh, you can't play a lot of your Steam games. Dude, I've played so many AAA title games on my Steam Deck, no problem. Like, yeah, you got to play them on low settings, but it still runs just fine. But like, I would say like I would rather do that for, and that's, by the way, $400. For $400 you get that, so you're saving $200. So let's say you take $400 and buy the Steam Deck, and then spend $200 on games. There you go. I mean, that's what I would do right now. But if you're a huge Nintendo fan and you know what games are coming down the line for the Switch 2, and you don't, you know, then yeah, $550, $600. I don't think it's that bad. They could have easily sold it for $700. I could have seen that for sure. And the technology, you know, is pretty impressive. You know, the new Joy-Cons look big and they look a lot easier to use, and the screen is more pretty and it's bigger. There's obviously upgrades to it compared to the first Switch, but I do feel for right now, with the lack of new games that are available, I would just keep my old Switch, play my old Switch games, and buy a Steam Deck and get Steam games until the Switch OLED comes out, or maybe there's a sale on the original Switch 2 and there's more games to choose from. That's what I would do. I don't know. The bundle is the same price as the non-bundle. Oh, what? Wait, then why would you buy the non-bundle if you don't get a game with it? Are you sure about that? It's the same price? I tried to get a bundle myself, but those were sold out. And the ones on shelves were reserved pre-orders. Oh, yeah. Pre-orders because, of course, yeah. This is the first Mario Kart that's ever featured 24 racers on the track. This time it's 24 instead of 12. I mean, that's great, but it's still Mario Kart. I've watched a lot of gameplay over the last 2 days, people playing it. And it's like, it looks pretty. It's awesome, you know, and it's great that it's 24 players. But I literally, like, I could care less, dude. It's Mario Kart. I've been playing it for over 20 years. Isn't a Steam Deck like $1,000, or did the price drop on that? No, Steam Deck, this one. When this first came out, this is the OLED edition, by the way. When this first came out, I got it for $600. And right now you can get them refurbished for $300. But that's refurbished. If you buy it brand new, I think they're down to $500 now, or $550. So same price as a Switch 2. And you can get the regular version of the Steam Deck, the non-OLED edition, brand new for $400. I want to say it's either $350 or $400. So it's around there. So I don't know. I love this thing. Like, I'm not trying to suck its dick or anything, but honestly, the Steam Deck is one of the best purchases I've ever made in my life, and I'm not saying that like it's so true. Absolutely love this thing. I use it probably every 3 days, roughly. I turn it on and I update it and I play a couple games. I mess around with it. And even when I'm sitting at my desk, I'll like turn it on, and I can even use this to connect to my PS5 and shadow, or what do you call that? Share play it. So you can play your PS5 on here, which is kind of sick. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with the Stream Deck that you can't do the Switch 2 unless you mod it. But the problem is you can't mod the Switch 2 or they brick your system. So I don't know. Like I said, I think down the line, I think the Switch 2 is going to be a really sick system to own when there's a lot of games to choose from. It's just right now, Mario Kart, I don't really care about. And the Switch 1 games I have, I can just play on my old Switch that I have currently. So, you know, I understand the upgrades, but I don't want to spend the money on that. I'm a Daisy main, bro. Come at me. I'm still going to pick Peach. Oh, man. Do you own a Series S? I think. Honestly, I went to GameStop and I just bought an Xbox. I told them I wanted to buy an Xbox so I could play Modern Warfare 2, the old one. And this was the one that I got. I don't know what kind of brand it is. I think it's a Series X. There's like so many different Xboxes. It's not the newest one. It's not the refrigerator looking one. I know that. I fucking hate Mario Kart. Why do you hate it? Crash Team Racing is more fun anyways. That is true. Crash Team Racing is goated. We need a new one. I had more fun with CTR than I did with Mario Kart. I agree with that 100%. Because CTR has more of a bigger skill gap. There's more to do in that one. This is probably going to be a hot take of the stream, but I think most 2D platforms are ass. Really? That is a hot take. That's a pretty big hot take. I disagree entirely, but I'm not going to shit on you too much for that take because, you know, it's like me with RPGs, right? Like, I'm not an RPG fan. I don't like RPGs. Never been able to play them or have fun. But I'm not going to sit here and say they suck or they're ass. Like, that's just not fair because it's just not for me. It's not my kind of game. I 100% agree with you on Crash Team Racing being the better racing game. It's literally a game where if you lose, it's a skill issue problem. 100%. I would love did CTR ever come out for the Switch? Because I remember Crash did. Did they bring CTR to the Switch as well? The Switch 1? I also just like 2D platformers. Yeah, so like I'm not a huge fan of them myself, but I have played a couple that were banging. They were pretty fucking cool. I'm so glad CTR Nitro Field exists. Yeah, the Nitro Field, that's what it was. I want to say it did come to the Switch. Yep, I played on Switch. I wonder what that would be like, Jonathan, if you got that, if you downloaded that for the Switch too. I think that would look beautiful on that thing. No Diddy Kong Racing fans, I'm disappointed. I've never played Diddy Kong Racing. I know. Kind of sacrilegious, but I've never played it. I've heard really good things though. CTR is goated. I miss the Grand Prix competitive scene. Yes, same. It's locked at 30 FPS, but I wonder if you play on this on the Switch too, if they allow you to unlock it. You gotta think that the shitty thing is though, you'd have to have the developer send out some type of update that would be for the Switch too, and I don't know if they're gonna do that. They probably wouldn't. It's Activision. They're not gonna care. Crash Team Racing, love it. I think Nitro Field was on the Switch. Yes, yeah, I think you're right. I played the DS version of Donkey Kong Racing, dude. No joke, the DS version of Mario Kart is the best version.
Let me tell you all something. You know Santa made a good remake if the game gives you zero incentive to play the original. It exceeded expectations.
Brian kind of fucked that one up, so I'm going to repeat it for him.
Oh, fuck.
Thank you, Jonathan, so much for the $5 super chat. Can we show some love in chat for Jonathan again, my man? But Jonathan was said that, you know, that Crash Team Racing made a good remake if the game gives you zero incentive to play the original. It exceeded my expectations. And honestly, I kind of agree. I loved the remake a lot. And I know Laughing is a huge CTR fan, so I'm curious to hear their take on the remake, if they thought it was better or worse or the same. But yeah, the remake it blew my mind. When that first came out, I played it nonstop for days until I 100% of that game. It was so fucking good. It's a shame they removed Conker and Banjo from later ports of Diddy Kong Racing. Wonder why? What the hell? I hate that Nintendo hates Conker, man. They hate our boy. I wish snaking came back to Mario Kart. What is that? What's snaking? I don't know what that is. When that Sega Racer was announced, they said, unlike another kart racing game, we'll have cross-platform multiplayer. There you go. Xbox owns Rare. Oh, that's right. Yeah. I love the remake. So much fun. So much fan service to the series. I wish it got more updates. Me too. I remember the big controversy around that game when it first came out, though. It was amazing. And then, like, a month after release, maybe not even, maybe a couple weeks after release, they shadow dropped all those microtransactions. And the reason it was a huge thing was because before the game released, they were saying up and down that like there wasn't going to be microtransactions. So I remember that was like a big no-no, like Activision being an asshole for no reason. Also, I'm in Amy main. I don't care if she's meta. I just play her because she comes in my favorite color and she's Furry Daisy. Hell yeah. They just can't handle his BDE Conker. Went to GameStop and played with a few of the employees for CTR Nitro Field the day before release. That's awesome. Conker's Bad Fur Day is one of the best games for the N64. Agreed. Based game. I enjoyed Nitro Field for what it was, but I wish it had the longevity Mario Kart had. Yeah, people shit their pants over the MTX when it basically just amounted to buyable money. Amy supremacy. Yeah, I don't really have a take on it. I don't remember if I really gave a shit, to be honest. It was microtransactions that I don't...
Snaking
it's just cosmetics.
Is an advanced technique used in Mario Kart where you perform a series of mini slide cancels for constant boosts. I'm probably explaining it wrong, but it's something like that.
That sounds right. I do remember that now. And Jonathan, dude, thank you so much. Holy shit. Another $10 super chat. You legend. Thank you. But yeah, that I do remember that now. Okay. But yeah, I used to play the shit out of the Mario Kart on DS. That was the one I put the most hours in. I remember that one was a lot of fun. They added the drift mechanic from Nitro Kart to go to the OG track, so there is some incentive to go back to the original. Though I don't think you can pull off the big track jump in Papu's Palace. Yeah, I think you're right. I remember watching a video about that you couldn't do that jump, like if you're a speedrunner kind of thing. Yo, what up, Prime? Good to see you. When they added monetization, they fucked it. Best thing about Nitro Field is it has the best character, Rylaroo, not once, but twice. The only thing Coins did in Nitro Fuel was buy cosmetics. I appreciate that characters weren't locked to their engine class after Season 4 of the Grand Prix, and that all vehicles are just cosmetics. Yeah, true. Yeah. It was funny when they said the new Sonic racing game will be cross-platform multiplayer. The sad reality, though, is the new Sonic racing game is probably going to die off in like 2 months. Like, Sonic has a lot of fans with a lot of big mouths online, but I feel like their games never sell well, and they never keep longevity, and I don't know why that is. It's a very weird thing.
Vicarious Cheer 100.
Travis!
Vicarious Cheer 100. Vicarious Cheer 100.
Thank you, brother, for the 300 biddies.
Oh, fuck.
It's just like cock blocking us the whole night. My God. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate the love. Oh, God. All right. So I guess we can lead kind of into our final topic of the day, or the fourth thing that I wrote down here before stream. Summer Game Fest. So a lot of people didn't know that it was going on last night, which was super funny to me. But yeah, Summer Game Fest happened yesterday at 5 p.m. If I was to rank the entire event into like one category or like one sentence, I'd probably just say that like I thought it was pretty mid overall. It wasn't terrible. I definitely have watched worse shows that are like gaming related, or like, you know, Jeff Keighley ran. But I felt there was a lot of like hype for games that didn't deserve hype. And that might be rude or mean to say, but it really felt like he was doing these like huge, like, you know, how do I explain this? Like the way he described a game before they released it, or like a world premiere, he was like, it's been talked about for years and people have been so excited about this, and then boom, and then it's like a game I've never fucking heard of. I'm like, what? No one's talking about this. What is this? Like, I thought it was going to be something cool, and it was nothing. But yeah, generic white male knows the number one thing that I'm super excited for, that we finally got a teaser for, you know, with a release date, no less. I had no idea they were going to give a release date, but with Resident Evil 9, massive. And you guys know I'm definitely going to be streaming that the day that comes out, because I am a huge RE fan. I loved the main games of the series. I've never played many of the spin-offs. I would like to do those soon, but the main games of the series, I love every single one of them. There's never been one I did not. Well, Resident Evil 6 is the one outlier that I did not enjoy. I did not like that game, but every other Resident Evil have been god tier games. Just, I love that series so much. So yeah, Resident Evil 9 is going to be huge on my to-do list, or to play list, when that comes out. So, and yeah, that's coming out less than a year. It's like February. Huge, dude. February 2026. I cannot believe that. So yeah, very stoked for that. The trailer was awesome. It kept me guessing of what the fuck, what is this game? What is this kind of thing? Until the very last second. So yeah. Thankfully, Silent Hill seems to be back after 20 years. That is also true. Silent Hill F looks amazing. That was another one that looked pretty good, the trailer they showed off. But we already knew Silent Hill F was coming before the Summer's Game Fest, so that's why I didn't really bring it up. But yeah, I'm very excited for that. It looks amazing. CTR was such a common community fan service game. It had meme characters for crying out loud. There's a character called Fixed Reelaroo, which is the character model of the first remake Reelaroo, but with a different mouth placement because the community was complaining that the original one looked like Fred Durst for some reason. So they responded. Why? Wait, what? Why are people mad about that? If it looked like Fred Durst, that's the only character I'm playing. I still need to watch the trailer for it. Yes, X, please do. It's gonna blow your mind, man. It looks amazing. There was a decent amount of good-looking indie games. That is true. Yeah, the indie scene, I think, took it away. I think the other game that I'm really, really excited about, other than Resident Evil, is ILL. ILL, dude. I've been following ILL for probably 6 years now. I think the first video that I saw on YouTube around that game was like 2019, 2018, I want to say. And everybody, including myself, to be fair, thought it was just a fan-made like fake game. Like it was a dude uploading random clips to his YouTube channel of these like short, fully animated cutscenes made in Unreal Engine, but it was meant to look like a first-person shooter, like a first-person game. But you could tell it wasn't in-game footage of anything. It was an actual, like, you know, a video that he created from scratch. But he would upload these like once a year. It was super seldom, like literally once a year. He would upload these little clips of this game that he would call ILL at the end. And everybody in the comments every single time is like, can't wait for this game to never launch, or like, can't wait for this fake game to come out in 20 years. And I just never gave up hope. I just always assumed it was going to be a real thing. Like I'm pretty sure one day this game's going to fucking shadow drop and everyone's going to blow up and their minds are going to explode. And sure enough, out of nowhere, at like 2 days before the Summer's Game Fest on their Twitter, they posted saying like, check out the Summer's Game Fest. We're going to be on there. And I'm like, oh my God, it's real. It's a real game. Sadly though, we did not get a release date, so I have no idea when that's coming out. It's probably going to be a couple years since they didn't give a release date. But either way, I wish listed that immediately on Steam. I'm super excited for Ill. It looks disgusting, gory, it's creepy. Pretty much everything I was hoping for with those updates over the past like 5-6 years. But yeah, I've heard that Silent Hill Downpour is considered the worst in the series. Silent Hill Downpour and Homecoming are very bad. I've never played I played, what's the one in winter? It's like all winter and it was on the PSP. I played that one and that was okay. It was weird, but it was nothing like Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill 1, that's for sure. So I still want to try Silent Hill 3. I've not played that one yet. I would like to play that during October this year. That puppet boxing game, dude, I'm actually stoked for that. That looks kind of crazy. I love interactive and like creative stuff like that. I'm curious to see what that's gonna be like. It's probably gonna be dumb as hell, but I'm gonna play it. Muppet Punch Out, Shattered Memories. Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, I had that on PSP, and it was fun, but that was ironically that was my first Silent Hill experience. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I didn't understand the story at all. I just bought it because it looked cool. Outbreak 1 and 2 really need remasters to go alongside of Resident Evil 9 since there's heavy connections. Never got to play them either, but heard they were in a NVIDIA leak a few years ago, so maybe. Outbreak I've heard really good things about. People keep asking me to stream Outbreak, so maybe I will have to check them out because I forgot that because yeah, Fizra is right. It's a huge like one of the main characters of Resident Evil 9 is the daughter of the main character of Outbreak. So yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out then to understand the story properly. Jeff Keighley lied about the amount of people who worked on Claire Obscure. Really weird. Did he? Maybe he just got the word or the number wrong. Possibly. The dude can't be perfect, you know. I can't wait for Resident Evil Requiem. I'm also excited about finally getting the chance to play a Silent Hill game. Yes. Hell yeah, Jonathan. Silent Hill 3 is so scary. I've heard it's really good. A lot of people said it's their favorite one in the series. No, it was Silent Hill Origins. No, definitely not Origins. It was Shattered Memories because I remember the case now. Most of the games he signed off on were canceled and therefore wasted their time. Damn, really? I bet playing Resident Evil Outbreak would be easier to play thanks to the Duck Station. What system was that on? Was Outbreak PS2? I thought it was like PS3 for some reason, but maybe it was PS2 era or GameCube even. Operation Raccoon City is the best Resident Evil game. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that, Chief. I still feel the best one's RE4, but it was PS2. Okay, so yeah, I'll have to emulate it if I play it. Raccoon City Ruins for the win. Yeah, dude. When I saw the RPD in Ruins in the trailer, I was immediately like, Resident Evil, let's fucking go. Actually, it is Origins that play it. Wait, actually, it is Origins that you played. That was the only PSP Silent Hill. Hold on. Silent Hill Origins. Nope, it wasn't that one. Shattered Memories, you said? Yeah, Shattered Memories is a PSP game. I just looked it up. Because yeah, that was the one I played. It was the winter one where he had the flashlight. But it was pretty shit. Like, it was fun, but I remember, like, not understanding what to do, and I got stuck and just gave up on it. They need to remake Manhunt, such a great game. That's another series of games, Manhunt 1 and 2, that people have told me time and time again, you gotta play them, you gotta try them out. But looking at gameplay of those games, it doesn't... I don't know. I know it's a super old game at this point, but it still gives me the heebie-jeebies looking at it. I'm like, it doesn't make me feel good. I don't know if I would enjoy playing those games, to be honest. But, I don't know, maybe. We'll see. Shoot, I thought Shatter was only on Wii. Wait, it's a Wii game as well? I thought it was just a PSP game. Hold on. Oh, wow, it was a Wii game. Maybe that's why it felt so weird, because they probably just took the Wii version and ported it to PSP. It's such a weird, like... that's so weird. I'd like The Suffering to come to PSN and PS Plus. The Suffering, yeah, that's a game series I definitely want to check out soon on the stream, for sure. Because I know Blue Tag, my buddy, did a video on that and looked pretty good. I'm hoping the new Mafia game does well, so Take-Two will give the developers a bigger budget for their future games. Yes. Take-Two, though, is under some hot water right now because of, if you guys didn't know, the, what was it, Borderlands 2 on Steam is just spyware now. Yikes. They made it free to play, you know, it's like, woo, free to play, 20, not even, 13-year-old game, 14-year-old game, I don't know how old it is. But yeah, they were like, free to play, that's awesome, but apparently now they got a big update where it's just spyware, and it's been like proven that it's, yeah, it's pretty bad. So I'm expecting some lawsuits to come out of that, because Take-Two has been doing that with a lot of their games as of recent, and it's not good. It's not looking good. So I just went through and uninstalled. Like I own, you know, I've had Borderlands 2 forever, but I just went through and uninstalled it because I just don't trust it right now with all that shit going on. The Manhunt game's mechanics are outdated, but it's really cool atmosphere, perfect for a Halloween stream. Okay, I'll put it on my list for Halloween then, because I do want to. I want to be streaming like scary games every stream that month. Has 2K Rockstar parent, by the way. I know. Take to court. You should play Second Sight. That's a good PS2 horror game. Second Sight. Never heard of that. I'll look into that, though. Outbreak was a game that was ahead of its time. The idea of having a multiplayer-driven Resident Evil game is a cool idea, but it required internet service that was pretty difficult for its time. Yeah. I am curious to see what Outbreak's all about, though, because yeah, again, like I've heard from a lot of people it's their favorite Resident Evil. So if somebody tells me it's their favorite Resident Evil and it's a spin-off version, you know, it's not one of the main games, that's crazy. So it must be good. Man, it was the first game where I saw the word fuck explicitly said and stated. Based. The Suffering 2 is one of the weirdest hidden enemies in gaming. Captain Carafe? He looks like the Kool-Aid Man in a pirate costume. What? Okay, that's pretty cool. What up, Jimmy? Just got done mowing and in heat. I'm feeling pretty twisted. Hell yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you had to go mowing. That's never fun. But I hope it went well. Good to have you, man. We're about to wrap up here, actually. Went through all of my main topics I want to talk about. Oh, the last thing. That's right. Last thing. So Summer's Game Fest, you know, we got Resident Evil 9, we got Ill. I was happy about those two things. So it wasn't a complete wash of a show for me. But no Season 2 trailer for Twisted Metal. What gives? What's up with that? What's Sony doing, man? Why are they not marketing this at all? Because if I remember correctly, Season 1 of the Twisted Metal television show, we got that really weird off the wall like clip from the show that really got all of us kind of worried about it. But it was like I think it was during the Summer Game Fest, you know, a month before the show came out. And this time we got nothing. We had a State of Play 2 days before Summer Game Fest, no trailer, and then Summer's Game Fest, no trailer. I thought that we for sure were gonna get something, and we got nothing. So I don't know. Maybe that's probably the next week or so we might get something, I guess. But it just kind of feels like a wasted opportunity to get more eyes on the show. I thought it was the Winter's Game Fest. No, that wouldn't make sense because the show came out in July. And it was only a couple of months before the show came out when we got that clip. And I think that was during the Summer's Game Fest. I think Code Veronica is my favorite. 4 is good, but mad overrated. Also, Suffering 1 is top-notch. 4 is not overrated. Nah, that's a lie. 4 is an amazing game. It's easily in my top 5. I thought it was at the Winter's Game Fest. Outbreak is so good. It's the first Resident Evil that had online multiplayer. That is pretty crazy. Just like Jonathan said, though, it's kind of... Since it was a PS2 game, it sucks that it was kind of finicky back then. It wasn't mine. I gave it a try, but because of the time it came out, you're kind of stuck playing with moronic AI teammates who are unreliable. It's a cool idea to have a Resident Evil where the name of the game is teamwork to progress, but I just wish the game did not have faulty AI because the little kid me had no interest on internet on PS2. I didn't either. I didn't have internet until I got a PS3 way later in life. CV being favorite is rare. I'm rare. Ooh. CV can't be anyone's favorite. It has Steve in it. Oh, Code Veronica. Yeah. I've heard things about Code Veronica. It's another game I've never touched, never played it, but I've never heard someone say it's their favorite. I just heard it's pretty good. Sony and Peacock are being weird about that, showing it off when there's only a month till it's out, only getting info through IGN of all things. Yeah, I just feel like it's like a slap to their, it's like shooting themselves in the foot, it's especially during your own showcase, state of play. Why? It's free, right? You don't have to pay to market your own movie or your own show. Why not put a trailer in there? And they can't they can't say that they're not ready for a trailer. We already got the teaser trailer. So they're obviously done filming and everything. So very weird. It just that just didn't sit right with me. It makes me worried a little bit. Like maybe something's going on behind the scenes, but I don't know, man. What if this is so copium right now? Stop me before I say it. But what if they release a trailer of next week or this week or whatever coming up for the show, but they wanted to wait to have it by its own thing, to its own announcement, because at the end of the trailer they announced they're making a new game. You never know. You never know. That might be the big reveal. That's why they're waiting. That'd be crazy. I doubt it. Dollmask and Drew streaming zombies together. The bromance is in the air. Oh, that's why they both went live at the same time. That makes so much more sense now. Doll's cheating on me. I would shit. We all would shit. I don't know what I would do if they said there was a new TM being made. I don't. That'd be huge. Like a trailer looks like the show, but slowly transitions into gameplay. That'd be crazy. But no, I'm just saying, like, it would be the show's, because they want to promote the show, obviously. It would be a trailer for the show, but then at the end of the trailer, like right at the end, it just like flashes on screen, like new game coming in 2027 or something like that. That'd be crazy. As long as it's not a fucking live service game, yeah. Yep, agreed. I think they kind of learned. I pray to God they learn their lesson with that. Live services are just not. They're not it, man. They're not it. They needed to cut that shit out. Stop putting money towards it. Live service is dead. Every single Sony live service game seems to just kick the bucket. Not even a year after release. Yeah, they need to stop that, man. A tie-in game was rumored. Do you know by who? Midnight? You're the first time I've heard that a tie-in game was rumored. I mean, like, we've talked about it in the community, like, what if they did a full-on new game that was based on the show? You know what I mean? Like, it was the characters and people, like, the actors were in the game and stuff. I could see that being a thing. I kind of hope that doesn't happen, because I feel like that would just be... You guys know how, like, TV shows to games don't really go too well, but... No online needed, cosmetics, nothing else, yeah. Code Veronica has some really cool ideas, and the music is some top-notch horror ambience, but it looks grainy garbage on PS2, and it requires some unfair trial and error to get through it. God, and I hate the unfair trial and error type gameplays. I'll steal a PS5 for a Twistable Black sequel. 2012 was a good template for a live service game, but it was ahead of its time and fell short so hard. Never will forgive Sony for that. Yeah, I agree. I think 2012 had a lot of promise, but... it is what it is. I think IGN, but not sure, was a while ago. Okay, I'll have to look into that. You can easily softlock yourself in Code Veronica. That's such bad game design. Oh, I hate that. I did like the TV show's interpretation. No, I love the TV show, don't get me wrong. I think it's great, and I'm super excited for season 2. I'm just saying, as a video game, though, like, if they were to do a tie-in game to the show where, like, they had the actors playing the characters in the game, I just feel like... I don't know. I just feel like it would be a Twisted Metal game, if that makes sense. Like, it just feel like I want the show to be its own thing, and I want the game to be its own thing. Separate them. Let them do their own thing. But maybe to sell more units, they might do that. I have no idea. Exactly, Mortimer. Like, most TV/movie to game series usually fall on their face. They suck, so. I don't know. But all right, guys, I think that's going to be it for today. I think this is a good time to wrap it up. We've got an hour and 37 minutes, which is more than I thought we would, honestly, for episode 1. So just thank you genuinely for the bottom of my heart for everybody for showing up and for giving this a chance. And like I stated, this is not going to be, this might not be something that goes on forever. It might just be me testing it for a couple weeks and we'll see how it goes. And if it's not that great, whatever, you know, we go back to our regular programming. But for now, for the foreseeable future anyway, Saturdays are going to be this show. So keep on the lookout for that. You know, keep that in mind. Saturdays will be this show. And then I'm adding Wednesday streams to the schedule. So I'm going to be streaming Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all in a row. And then Fridays are off. And then the show on Saturday, and then off on Sundays. So that's the new schedule. I hope you guys are understanding that. I hope hope you guys like it. Also, I am hoping to get some guests in the near future for the show as well. So a couple people on my list right now to get on the show would be Jim Buck. I want to get Mel McMurrin on here, Dave Goodrich, maybe even Drew. Maybe get some of the boys on here, Kohalo. You know, I'd like to interview them one-on-one. So that might be in the near future as well. Would love to get some different people up here and get their take on certain things, and of course some old developers from the old games. You know, get their take and stuff on the new Twisted Metals and stuff like that. So, yes, thank you all again. This has been a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have been enjoying it and just chilling and shooting the shit with me. And I know it's different content. I know it's not as exciting as our normal streams are, but I hope you guys give it a chance and come back for next week and all that stuff. And speaking of next week, really quick, next Saturday, me and the wife are going to be gone, so I might not have an episode next week, and if I do end up doing a stream, it's going to be late, like late on that Saturday, so maybe like 11 p.m. going live kind of thing. So just be on the lookout for that. I'll give you guys something in advance in the Discord, some type of announcement being like, hey, tonight I'll be going live. Yeah, late night edition, right? I'll be going live instead of at 5 p.m. I'll be going at like 10 or 11 p.m. So just stay on the lookout for that. But we'll see. Otherwise, I might just skip the week and we'll come back 2 weeks from now. I hope I don't have to do that, but we'll see. Nick at night, hell yeah. But before we go, don't head out yet. Don't go anywhere. If you're on the Twitch side, let's go raid somebody. And I think you guys know who we're going to be raiding. Let's send some love to Drew and our Doll Mask, our two boys. They're playing some zombies, I think I heard. So let's see. They're streaming together, but it only lets me choose one, so I guess we'll just raid Drew. I don't think we've raided him before. So we're raiding Mr. Desdu. And yes, thank you, Pager, for that raid command. We're going on a Vicarious raid. Make sure to copy that using any emotes you like. Let's go show some love to our boys. And thank you all again. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And we'll see you on Monday for the beginning of the new schedule. So yeah, love you guys. Peace.